Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's very exciting reading vlog. So as you guys know, I like when other things pick the books that I read. Sometimes it's hard when nothing's picking it and I have no direction. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. Thankfully, we have the Fable app's little AI mascot, little bird Scout, to pick my reads for this week. He has access to all of my books on there, specifically my want to read list. There's like over 200 books on there. It's all the books on my physical TBR plus some that are just on my mental TBR. So that's where I kind of like compile everything. So like I said, he's got access to that. I'm gonna be letting him have free range. He can pick any book on there. And I did start this a couple days ago. So we're gonna rewind to a couple days when I was leaving Boston to see the first book I'm gonna be reading for this video. Okay, here is my Fable. Currently reading no books. So we're gonna go into my want to read list. There's 204 technically, but I have to take out Wild Side because I already read that. So if you hear yawning, that's Chris behind the camera.
Sorry guys.
Okay, Fable, Scout, he's gonna pick for me. Nervous.
Is that the new one?
Oh my god, this is so exciting! Is
that the new book?
Yes! I don't have it with me, but this is our next read. Oh my god. Shout out Scout, that was amazing. Okay, like you guys saw, Scout was amazing, and he picked Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I did not expect him to pick a book that was so high, like on the list. Like I've recently added this to the list, so he knew what he was doing, and I love that he chose this. So this is our first read. I did start it a couple days ago, like I said. I'm a little bit of the way through, but I'm gonna go on a walk right now. I have my headphones over here. I've got a little drink to drink, and we're gonna be listening to this. I had my last audiobook or last Audible credit to use. We're gonna have a fun little walk. I think my mom's gonna come with the girls for a little, so it'll be a fun time. I will give my updates on the book when I come back, but let's get into the audiobook. Let's listen to a bit of it, and let's get into this. This is a very exciting first book for the video. We're starting off very strong, so shout out Scout. That little bird knew what he was doing. Okay guys, let's talk about A Great Big Beautiful Life. This is probably a top most anticipated read of the year. There's a lot of releases coming out from some of my favorite authors this year, but this is one of the top 3 probably I'm most excited for. This one, if you don't know what it's about, which I'm sure 90% of us know what this is going into it, but if you don't, it's about 2 writers who are competing to tell the story of this well-renowned woman who was very much in the spotlight with a very famous family all her life, and now is years later. She's 80. She's kind of been in hiding. No one's seen her, but she was all up in the tabloids in her years and all this stuff. So Alice and Hayden go to her house and she says, you guys have a month to interview me, and at the end of the month I will choose who gets to write my final story. So that's kind of the gist of it. That's what's going on right now. They're on a very small island in Georgia. This book so far has me just a little bit bored. I do like our 2 main characters though, but what's interesting about this Emily Henry read is we have our 2 main characters and like that side of the, I don't want to say romance just yet, but like that side of the book that always comes in Emily Henry books. But we also have a 3rd like main character, and that's Margaret Ives, the woman that they're interviewing, and she is a very prevalent part of the story. She's telling them her story, so it's a very different dynamic than all of the other books that I've read by Emily Henry. I have heard people say this is more, literary fiction type read rather than romance, but I do feel that there is a romance brewing. It's definitely a slow burn like most of Emily Henry's books are, but now that we've added the Margaret Ives story into it, it's definitely taking away from the romance, I guess, because we're not focusing on our 2 main characters all of the time, which is totally understandable to get the story within the story. So the story we're getting from Margaret in Alice's point of view, because that's the only point of view we get, is a bit boring so far. I know that by the end of it there'll be a reason for why she's telling it the way that she is, but right now reading about her history with her family and how they became this like huge millionaire family in the spotlight and everything, it's a little bit boring. It's a little bit slow. I'm not loving that part of it, but I'm putting my trust into Emily Henry, as I have with so many of her books. As for our two main characters, Hayden and Alice, I really, really like Alice, actually. It's so funny because all of Emily Henry's characters, female main characters, I feel like Emily Henry put something into them that I can completely relate to. So she's very much a people person, though. She's definitely a sunshine character. I really like being in her point of view because in comparison, Hayden is very much, I would say, standoffish. Obviously, he has, you know, what he's gone through. We've got a little bit of that, but he's a bit more of the grumpy male main character, and he's also a more renowned author or writer. So that's kind of like their dynamic. I will say, like I said, it's very much slow burn because we're not 100% of the time focusing on Alice and Hayden, but there's like a few little moments that I feel like Emily Henry does so good of like just a little bit of chemistry or like a little bit of, you know, a connection there. Like Emily Henry makes it feel like so much bigger than it really is, and I love that so much. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the pieces that we're getting of all of the characters and the story. I just feel like it's very much a slow burn story and a slow setup, but yeah, I think that's all I have right now. I don't think it'll be my favorite of her stories just from like the way it's going, and I feel like in the other books I've read, especially just I would say topmost, Beach Read and Happy Place, I connected to them very early on in the books, but I think this is one that will be very different from her most recent releases. So, or all of her books actually. That is my update. I'm gonna sit outside and read. It is the most stunning, beautiful spring day, and this book just screams spring to me, so I feel like I just have to read it outside. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get back into it. Let's see how I don't want to say the rest of it because I will be back before it ends, but let's see how the next few 100 pages go. Have a little bit, I would say, of a disappointing update. Not really disappointing, but I'm just not gravitating towards this book like I thought I was. Like when I'm not reading it, I'm like, I don't really care to get back into it, which is a little bit upsetting. I think the romance part of it picked up pretty fast and there was not much yearning or tension in my opinion. There were a few moments that were pretty good moments between the two of them, but I think they're getting to know each other and having these conversations and learning more about like the way they grew up and why they're the way that they are, which is really good conversations, but like they're getting to know each other, in my opinion, feels more of a platonic level, and then the romance has picked up, I feel like, in a physical sense, and it's just not what I expected, I guess. Hayden, as a male main character, to me, doesn't have the wit and the banter. Like, their banter is kind of not as good as you would kind of expect it to be, especially in Emily Henry. She's queen of banter. She is so good at it. We know how good she is at it. I've read so many books where the banter makes me giggle and giddy, and I have not really felt that at all in here. There are some good quotes that I'm enjoying, and obviously her writing style, it definitely hits in the right moments, but I'm just not really loving it, and I'm really upset about that. And then the other side of it with Margaret Ives and her story, I feel like we're learning more about her in the interview style. I feel there's gonna be a lot more to it that's gonna come to the end of it, so I'm just waiting to see how that kind of like wraps up and like comes out to see how my feelings might change on the book. But right now it's like I'm very bored reading her story. We're not getting much description. We're kind of just being told what happened. It's not my least favorite read. I think it might be my least favorite of all of Emily Henry's books, which was not expected for me, but that's okay. There's a few quotes in here, like I said, I did enjoy. This one says, "For the one you love, anything. You unmake the world and build a new one. You do anything to give them what they need." This one says, "What do you do when you live in a world that was built around you, and so you find yourself trapped like one sentence in a myth, one brick in a wall? When you're built into the fabric of a place, and that place was built to keep everyone out. What's it like to feel yourself alone in the world?" That one, I liked the description of where it is in the book and what character she's like kind of talking about, so I liked that one. I liked the way that she compared her loneliness and her world to being kind of like built around her. And then this one, it says, "I think you live in a world that's more interesting than the one most people live in," he says. "And just as my heart starts to sink with disappointment, with a kind of loneliness," he adds, "and I wish I could live in it too. I feel myself beeping. I'll take you sometime. I'd like that," he says. I thought that was a sweet moment. Like I said, they have sweet moments. I'm just like not totally feeling it. This part made me just giggle a little bit. This is when they were getting to know each other. And like I said, she was very much a sunshiny character. He was very grumpy. She says, "How many times have you been here since you got to town?" "4, he says, not missing a beat, counting today." And how many of those times have you scored this booth, I ask. His eyes slowly peel up from the menu to meet mine. You're doing it again. Doing what? Smiling like you've just walked into a surprise birthday party when almost nothing is happening. Just like picturing that scene made me giggle because like knowing or getting to know their personalities, it was really, really funny. And I liked when they were getting to know each other in the beginning, but like now it just feels a bit rushed, their romance, and I don't love it. Some parts I'm enjoying, some parts I'm kind of bored. Not really reaching for this book when I'm not reading it, but I have been listening to the audiobook, also reading like on and off between the two of them, and yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to see how this ends. I'll come back with my final rating and review, and hopefully the ending is better than how it's going right now. Like you guys saw, I finished Great Big Beautiful Life. I don't really have much else to say in comparison to what my last update because I kind of feel the same way. I think in the beginning, I really, really loved following our main characters, getting to know them, seeing them connect, and, you know, the start of their relationship and the way that they were, like, hanging out and, like, doing their things and getting to know each other. I really liked that. And then on the other side of it, Margaret's story in the beginning was very, very boring for me. And then the pacing of the romance went really, really fast. Like, a little bit too fast where like I didn't really feel it or connect to it or understand it. Like at one point I was listening to it, Alice said something and I was like completely shocked. Like I actually like jaw dropped a little. I was like, there's no way we're already feeling these feelings and everything like that. So I think in the beginning I liked the way the characters were getting to know each other, and then I didn't like the Margaret story, so it was a bit boring. As everything kept going, the second half of it I was like, I'm really enjoying Margaret's story, and then I'm not enjoying the romance. So, and there was no point where I was enjoying like all of it, so I was kind of like disconnected at like every point of it, which is really, really sad. I'm so sad to say that. I do love Emily Henry's writing still. Obviously that just is not gonna go away. Like I love the way that she tells stories. I think the story within a story is a really interesting concept, but I feel like Margaret's story, like the ending of it wasn't as, I don't want to say crazy as I assumed. I didn't really expect the very end of it, but I didn't really think it was anything, you know, extravagant. Like the way it was told, it didn't have me connecting to the story or anything. I just feel like I was being told a story and it was just like crazy at some points, and like just like this really rich, huge family and the press and the paparazzi and everything, but I never really like felt it and like felt like I was there. I liked the setting of it, I guess. If I were to rank the Emily Henry books, I think the top would be Happy Place, Beach Read, Funny Story. Those are my big three. And then probably Book Lovers, and then sadly this is at the bottom with People We Meet on Vacation, which I haven't read in like 3-ish years, so I don't know where that would land. Right now this one is my least favorite, which is so sad to say, but I just didn't connect to it like I thought I would, and that is very upsetting and disappointing. But not every book is going to be a hit from your favorite author, and that's totally fine. There's also like Hayden's personality, everyone keeps saying is most similar to Gus, which I totally agree, but Hayden didn't have any like wit, like they didn't have any like they weren't funny. Like there was no like banter that I enjoyed, that like I was in it with them, I was giggling and I was giddy. Like I didn't like feel any of that, but I'm glad I read it obviously, and I still love Emily Henry's writing, and I'm excited for whatever book she writes next. So right after I finished that, I actually did pick the next book we're gonna read. If I had to pick, I'm not gonna look yet. I'm kind of hoping for another romance. I'm in a romancy mood. Hopefully he doesn't pick a fantasy. Okay, we got The Last Love Note by Emma Gray. This one, I believe, is a summer romance. I actually was trying to keep this for summertime and wait to read it like kind of the beach, but it's been a beautiful few days, so maybe we'll sit outside and read this one. And this is the same author as Pictures of You, which I read earlier this year, and I really, really enjoyed that one, so I'm excited about this one. Let's see what it's about. It says, 2 years after losing her husband, Cameron, Kate is a bit of a mess. Lurching from one comedic crisis to the next, she does her best to navigate work, friendships, and parenting a 5-year-old without Cam's support. When a flight diversion on a business trip unexpectedly leaves her stranded in a beach town in Australia, Kate finally has a chance to process her grief. Can she let go of the love of her life and risk her heart a second time? The Last Love Note will make readers laugh, cry, and renew their faith in the resilience of the human heart, recognizing that while you may never stop loving the one you lost, you can always find love again. I actually had this book sent to me from the publishers over at Zippy Publishing because her latest release, Pictures of You, like I said, I really enjoyed that one. They sent that one to me as an ARC, so I got this one sent to me, and it says, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing Pictures of You. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Sending Emma's first novel for you to read. Warmly, another Sarah. So this is her debut novel. I'm really excited about this. Let's start it and let's see how it goes.
Hey guys.
Me again, super comfortable in front of the camera. Have you ever tried to smile with one side of your face? Ready?
Come on.
Do it. So everybody smile with one side of your face with us. Okay, everybody, we're about to smile with one side of our face. Are you going to include this? Ready?
If you want me to, but why?
Ready?
I was listening to the audiobook of this book when I was on my walk before, and a part of the thing, she has some books with her, and in my headphones it said she
Are you
had,
talking to me or them?
both of you.
Oh.
In my head she had, or like when I was
Them. Are they in this room with us right now?
when I was listening to the audiobook, it said that our main character, she's boarding a flight right now, and she has a Vari McFarlane book and an Emily Henry book. I was like, that's so cool, we're name-dropping authors. But in that book, I just went to find my page where I was, and it says she has an Ellen Hilderbrand novel and an Emily Henry book. I wonder why it was switched up, but I thought that was cool. Name-dropped 2 of my favorite authors. I woke up early so I could read some of the book, but like, I don't know why I'm just not feeling it, and I'm not that far in. I got like 70 / maybe 80 pages in, and I'm just like not feeling it. I don't know, because I can't tell what it's trying to do, whether it's trying to be like women's fiction following our female main character through the grief of losing her husband, or it's trying to kind of flow into a romance, but I can't tell who the romantic interest is. I can't really tell like the plot structure of it, so like I just don't know if I'm in the mood for it right now, or it's not like the timing for me to read it. So I'm just gonna pick another book and just start a different book, because I just have like no desire to pick this one up. I don't want to read a book just because this little birdie picked it, and I do want to get another book off my physical TBR, but I'd rather be enjoying the book I'm reading. So we're gonna pick another one. I actually did add 3 more books to my want to read list. There are 3 new releases, but I wanted to add them just because maybe it'll get picked, even though they're not out yet. They come out this week, but like maybe the next book, I don't know, we'll see. But let's let this little birdie pick for us again. Let's see what he picks. Oh, no way. This one doesn't come out till May 6th. This is the new release that I added. Okay, well today's only May 3rd. Let's choose another one. Oh, this is exciting. Okay, we got Our Infinite Fates, which I've been wanting to read for a really long time. This is really exciting. I don't have the book though. Maybe this calls for a Barnes trip. I'm gonna check Libby, see if Libby has it. Oh my, I'm so excited. I've been wanting to read this book for so long now, like weeks now, and it's on my spring TBR. My Libby only has the audiobook, and there's a 6-week wait. I'm gonna grab the book, maybe today. This is so exciting. Yay! Hello guys, it is a beautiful day. I'm going for a walk and I'm reading the book on my Kindle app on my phone, but I wanted to give it a little update. I got like 10% of the way through and I'm really enjoying it, so I bought it actually went to Barnes & Noble and bought the copy, the Barnes exclusive. It's such a beautiful cover and has like foiled edges and like little papers inside, like the front has little graphics. It is so cute, but I'm really enjoying it. I haven't really been in a fantasy mood, so I think I needed a fantasy that was kind of like no brain power but easy to get into, YA, and that's exactly what this is. So our female character has been alive for centuries, and in every lifetime the male main character comes and finds her, and they kill each other in every lifetime, but they also find each other in every lifetime, which I think is such an interesting concept. And right now, present date's 2022, so she's been alive for a very long time, and again, before she turns 18 or right around that time is when he finds her, and it's such an interesting storyline. I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. So far I really am. The only thing is she doesn't know the reason why he's coming to find her, or why they kill each other in every lifetime, why they find each other in every lifetime. She's been alive for so long that it kind of just has escaped her, like she can't really remember. So I'm really excited to find out the why of it all, but I'm really into the concept, so it's going well. I'm gonna go read it on my little Kindle app and we'll see how it goes. I'm not as much far in as I was yesterday, but I have a few thoughts, and I feel like it's also more first impression type thoughts, but I feel like we were thrown into the story without really getting much backstory. And I know that's the point of it because our main character, we're following the female main character, doesn't know the reason why, so like we don't know it as well, so we're kind of like thrown into this present day in 2022 when she's trying to find out like where the tether is, like where he is, but we're kind of thrown into it where it's like we're getting past chapters and like flashbacks from like other lives they lived in other countries and places as people and different whatever lives that they had, and they're together and they're like in love, and then obviously they're turning 18 and he has to kill her, like it's just like it's their fate. But I feel like we're not getting, at least, listen, we're really far in, but like I really hope that we get to feel them fall in love, because I feel like we're getting thrown into it where they're already in love and like we know that they fall in love in every lifetime, so it's like going to happen obviously, but we haven't gotten just yet them falling in love. We kind of get like the end of it. We haven't really gotten the build up for it, so I'm hoping in the present day we get that, because he's trying to find her and maybe they're gonna fall in love and then he's gonna kill her, whatever. But hopefully like something interesting happens, because so far it's just like a flashback, he kills her, they're in love, and then it's present day, she's trying to figure out like where he is because she's turning 18 soon. So I still think the concept is really cool. When I was listening to it, it was reminding me a lot of Addie LaRue, because she's like going through life and she's lived the same life but like so many different ones, because she's lived in so many different centuries and everything like that. And then I forgot, this is actually kind of recommended if you like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and also if you like How You Lose the Time More, which I read both of them, and I can definitely see the mix of the two. It definitely has the same, you know, inspiration and concept and themes, I guess you could say. But so far this one's reading very YA, and I don't know if it's just very simple reading, which I said yesterday I'm really enjoying that because I didn't really want a fantasy that was hard to understand, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm just hoping we get like deeper into it. It feels very just like surface level right now. I also really love this edition. I took off the dust jacket and it has a little quote on the front, which I think is beautiful. I didn't even look or notice when I bought it, so I'm really happy about that. I think it's such a stunning cover. That is just a first little update. I'm actually gonna go make more of those protein bagels I made a few weeks ago. I'm really excited about it, so I'm gonna throw on the audiobook. Let's make some protein bagels and let's get further in this book. don't know how much percent. I think I'm at like 80%. I wish I was recording because I'm blow drying my hair. One of the characters just said something at the end of a chapter. Mouth drop. Had to turn the blow dryer off and I literally just stared at myself like this. Because obviously she doesn't know the reason why this keeps happening and their fate is like this and so tragic. So I haven't really been theorizing, and usually my brain is going with like what the actual theory is, and I feel like I probably could have guessed something like this, but like since I wasn't theorizing, I'm just completely shook and so taken just like off guard. I needed to update. I haven't updated in a while. I've just been listening and reading because it's kind of repetitive, but like now that we're finding out some information that I was not expecting, it's picking up a little. I have real life rain ambiance right now. It is downpouring, and usually I put it on my fake ambiance YouTube video for raining. But I got the real thing right now. This is the perfect reading weather. I'm so excited to start our next book. Shout out Scout. We're starting Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I'm literally so excited. Okay, where is my book? Where is my book? Oh, okay. Okay, before we go into our last read, which you guys just saw what it is, let's talk about Our Infinite Dates, my final thoughts on it. You guys did see my rating. The premise of this book, as I kept saying, just I think was right up my alley. Like two people, lovers, that are doomed to kill each other in every single lifetime, but they just have this tether to each other. They have to find each other, but their fates are just so tragic. Like that is just so up my alley. Something that's a romance, but not a happy one. Like, I don't know. I just love an emotional and I wouldn't say a sad romance, but like there's, what's the word? You know, I was really excited going into it. I liked the way it started, but as the story kept going, I think I just like lost excitement as I was reading. It's very repetitive, but like obviously it's going to be repetitive. Their lives are repetitive. It's hard because our main character has gone through so many losses, and in the life she's in right now, the stakes are high because she's trying to save someone in her family. She's trying to help someone in her family, and the timeline is getting closer and closer to her birthday, and she doesn't have a lot of time left to help her family. So that's kind of like the high stakes in the present day. So you kind of see that, and I like the way that it's told because you get the glimpse into the anticipation she gets and the fear she gets because she wants to help her family. But other than that, you also get past chapters. Like every century goes back and back in time, and you see glimpses into other countries they're in, other places, and other people they are. And that is one of the things I loved about this book. There's a quote in here I can find. I think I tapped the page, or it might be on my Kindle. But what I love about this is in each lifetime that they're living, they're different people. Doesn't matter the gender or whatever it is, like their souls are moving with each other. It's not like she's a female main character and there's a male main character and that's who they are in every lifetime. No, their souls are going into different like people and bodies, if that makes sense. So I really liked that, and there was a quote that really explained that really well. I don't feel like any of them. I don't feel in my heart that I'm a boy, but neither do I feel like I'm inherently a girl. My soul isn't rooted to any of them. I'm just me. No particular body feels more right than the other, nor more wrong. They're just vessels, and with you, it doesn't matter to me how you look, what form you take. You're just you. And I thought that was beautiful because obviously in every lifetime they're finding each other, but they're not looking for each other physically. It's like their souls are looking for each other, and they just like know that. And I think that's a really beautiful like point of the book, and I really liked that. But in the past chapters, they were very short-lived. Like we saw what continent, what time period they're in, and I liked that like historical fantasy part of it, but I just didn't think we spent enough time in those chapters to get a real sense of like their relationship. I wanted it to be like this huge epic romance. I don't think we got that. I didn't really connect to like their romance part of it, which is totally fine. Like I said, there's a lot of beautiful quotes in here which I'll read, but the past chapters I think would have done a great justice to their relationship and like them finding each other in every lifetime. We kind of just saw them as they were with each other, and then like how he killed her in that lifetime, if that makes sense. Like we didn't see like the build up to that moment, them finding each other and all this. We saw them find each other in the present day, but like not in the past. I think the characters were interesting. I just wanted them to have more depth, and then I think the story was really interesting, but I wanted to go into it more. Like I think I just wanted more from the story. Like it was very like surface level, base level of what I thought it was going to be. So there are a few quotes though that may convince you to read this if you think this concept is really good and the premise of it, because some of these quotes are really beautiful and I really liked them. So I'll read a few that I have. So no matter how many lives I lost, no matter how many families moved on without me, I would always be known by Arden. Perhaps he was my true homeland, our existence a language only we could speak. And that was something that was so beautiful, is having that one person, that one soul that knows you in every single lifetime, that you can find in every single lifetime, that comfort of knowing they'll be there, especially living in so many different families. And for our main character that we're following, in their point of view, they have so many different families and they see so many losses. Like they know the impending doom that's coming, and like we live in just our lives in general, like knowing that we're gonna lose like people around us at some point, like that's just the inevitable. But she lives that every 18 years, so she knows loss so much, but she still has this hope in her. I think that's such a beautiful part of the book, and I really liked that with our main character. By design, you don't have any loved ones. There was a heavy pause in which I feared I may have wounded him too deeply, but then he muttered, I have you. And so even when there's no big joy, even when it feels like we'll never leave this trench alive, there's still the small joy. A sunset, a flask of tea, your hand in mine. Like even though they're not going to hit all those huge milestones, be able to live and, you know, be in love for such a long time, because her memory when she hits the next, you know, life and reincarnation that she has with her soul, like she doesn't remember much, but she knows that she'll have like those little moments, and she really talks about that a few times, which one part of it was like kind of weird because something was happening and he was asking her like, tell me your little joys, and she goes, analyzing Taylor Swift lyrics with Gracie, which is her sister in that lifetime. I was like, that feels very, I don't know, interesting in a fantasy book having like a present day reference, even though that is present day in like this part of the book, but like usually in like a contemporary romance or contemporary novel, it's like fine if there's like a, you know, modern day reference, but in here it just felt so jarring, so I thought that was funny. But I probably have like 2 more quotes to read. You see me to my very core. I know that to be true. Nobody's ever known me or will ever know me like you do. That's such an intimate thing. You can't help but be drawn to someone who understands your every word, your every step, your every heartbeat, and I love the connection you have to nature. Your roots are buried so deep in the earth. When I see a gnarled tree branch or a beautiful lake, I think of you. It makes it feel like you're all around me, in every twig and leaf, in every butterfly and every bramble. I was listening to this on my walk, and like in my ear I was listening to this quote, and I was like, that is a beautiful, beautiful quote. Like I said, there's some quotes in here that are like kind of like telling how they're feeling. I just feel like I didn't feel it, and I'm a bit upset about that, because I think if I felt their connection, it was like pulling my heartstrings, and it was like very, I don't know, more emotional to me. I think I would have given this like a 5-star, but I just didn't like get there. And then in one of the lifetimes, their name was Mika, and it says, I still remembered the bolt of adrenaline when I'd first seen Mika, the visceral knowledge that we had met before, the raw magnetism pulling us together like I was a planet he would always orbit. There's some parts in here that I really enjoyed, and then other parts that just like fell a bit flat for me. And then the very end of the book felt like a totally different book. I felt like I was reading a totally different story, the way the author took it. There was a plot twist that got me, like you guys saw, but not in a way where I loved the plot twist. Like it was a plot twist and it got me, but I didn't like love where that was going. So not my favorite read, but my favorite premise. If you know any books that are kind of similar in this, like the tragic love story, please let me know, with like some beautiful writing. I did give it like a 1/2 star just because it's really unique. Like it's a unique fantasy story, and it felt very refreshing in the fantasy world. It was definitely an easy read. Like nothing groundbreaking in like the world building of any sort, but I think just the premise is really good. Those are my thoughts on that. I know that's a lot, but I didn't really talk while I was reading it. I kind of just like went through it and waited till now. But like you guys saw, Fable, shout out Fable Scout, because he's kind of my best friend. Why is he the best at picking books? If you need help, I think you should let Fable pick the little scout, that little cute birdie, because he picked Great Big Beautiful Life, crazy anticipated release that I really wanted to read, and then he picked another anticipated release on my spring TBR that I was just talking about and I have been talking about for a while now, and then he picked another anticipated release that will complete a series for me and get a book off my physical TBR. Scout knows what he's doing, and I love him. So we started Wild and Wrinkled yesterday. I read a bit before bed. I didn't get very far in it. If you don't know what Rebel Blue Ranch series is, it's a small town cowboy-esque type romance. There's found family. It's really reminiscent of the Chestnut Spring series, and I really like this one because they're all fast-paced. You're following obviously the different characters, but you see them from the previous ones because it's interconnected. So this one, our final and last one, which is a bit sad because I do love this world in this small town. Kim and Dusty, I think, dated back in the day. It's a second chance romance, which I'm so excited about. I love me a second chance romance, but it's been like 10 or 15 years since they like stopped talking to each other, and she was getting married and her fiance didn't show up to the wedding, and that's like on the back of the book. So it's not a spoiler, but it's like on the very first page, and they end up spending that night together. He kind of like takes her away, and now they don't talk to each other. Well, not spend the night like that. They just like hang out for a few hours because she needs to like get out of the town. Anyway, now they're like not talking to each other. She needs to kind of like repair her life, and he is down bad. He has been yearning for her. He's been pining for her. He's had feelings for her for all of these years. It's never gone away. It's actually gotten worse with time, and I love that. I kind of love Dusty, and I didn't expect to love him, and I'm only very early in on this. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of love him because he's got hand tattoos too. Like I think I tabbed the page that it said he has a hand tattoo, and it was very early on. I think it's on page like 7 or 8. The 2 points of this book that I love is a second chance, and I'm sorry, I just love me a man with tattoos. I really do. And on page 8 and 9, it just like very perfectly described with both of them. It said, Ash, a voice said, I straightened my spine. I'd know that voice anywhere. If I'd slipped into a coma, it would wake me up. If I was 6 feet under, I'd dig myself out of the grave just to be closer to it, which was dramatic and startling and tragic and stupid, but it was true. So, and then on the next page, she said, take me somewhere. That's what I said. Dusty squatted in front of me so his gray eyes were level with my brown ones and stretched out a tattooed hand. It'll do it for me every time. I don't know what it is about it, but it'll do it for me. So I'm not very far in. I don't really know where the story's gonna go. Obviously I know it's second chance and that they're gonna find their way back to each other, but I'm really excited about this one. Potentially could be a favorite of mine, and usually like the last one in the series is so anticipated and I'm so excited for it. That's a bit disappointing, but so far so good. I'm actually gonna go to Barnes and pick up our book club books for May, and also one extremely anticipated release, so I'm very excited about that. Maybe we'll read this there for a little bit, but let's have a wonderful reading day. It's been raining the past few days, so a bit gloomy, but the perfect raining weather. Let's head out, let's read, let's go get some books. nothing like a small town, but not even just small town, but there's something like very charming about it, but interconnected books. Like, I love so much that you don't have to read all of them in order to understand the stories, but you get glimpses of the characters from the last one. And I think since this is the last book in the entire series, we're getting a lot of all of the other characters. I think it's also just like a, you know, farewell to the town and the people and the family in here. It's a big found family, and I love that. And the yearning in here is really good because they still have so much feelings for each other, especially Dusty, and you can definitely tell. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say slow burn, but I think compared to the other ones in the series, I think this is the slowest of burns so far, which I'm enjoying that too. Like, there's definitely the tension there and the chemistry is there. Like, it hasn't really snapped just yet, and I'm really enjoying that part. And one thing I also love is Cam, our female main character, is also a mother, and she didn't grow up with the best parents. You know, she tried to do everything to kind of get their attention, and they didn't really give her much attention. But since she's a mother, she's trying to give her daughter a totally different experience, and seeing like their relationship is really sweet, and seeing how her daughter's being raised with so much love around her is really nice. So I'm really enjoying this one. I'm having a great time. It's really fast paced, like the whole series is. I feel like it's not much brain power, you know, just reading it. It's definitely like palate cleansery type of romance, but this one may end up being my favorite, and I didn't expect that. I was definitely most excited for this one just because of the tropes and everything, but I just didn't have my hopes like the highest. But I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm either halfway or close to halfway. It kind of looks like that, but we'll see how far I get in tonight. I kind of want to just like binge the rest of it. I'm really excited to see when they finally, you know, break the tension and kind of like share their feelings a little bit. There's been like little glimpses of like things that Dusty's had or whatever it is that kind of just like shows that the feelings are really strongly still there, but they're just like not admitting it because she's scared to hurt him and he doesn't want to like, you know, do too much. But it's really good so far. And then I don't know if I said, but there's past chapters into like the 15 years ago when they were in high school, when they met and how they started dating and how their dynamic and relationship was back then, you know, their first kiss and everything. So that's really sweet to see. And there's just like something about two characters having so much history that's gonna do it for me like every single time. Like having that shared connection history and then like seeing each other or whatever like years later, and it's like it's all still there and it's all coming back. I just like love it. I'm a really big sucker for a second chance. So yeah, so far so good. I finished Wild and Wrangled this morning. I completely binged last night, and then I think I had like 30 pages to go this morning, so I wanted to finish it quickly because I wanted to see how this was going to end. I will say once they got together as a couple, I was kind of a little bit checked out because I feel like they didn't get together very quickly. I feel like they had a perfect slow burn situation going on, like with the yearning and like how much he like actually had so much feelings for her. But once they like kind of shared their feelings a bit more and they kind of grew in like the new relationship, I wasn't completely in it as I was in the beginning. I really loved the beginning of this book, and the first half of this I was like totally into it. I was giddy, I was giggling. I loved the two of them, and also obviously all the side characters and seeing them. But yeah, once we got a bit towards the end, I was like, okay, I can see them together. I love them together. Let's wrap it up. And then obviously things have to happen, you know, it can't just be all, I was about to say hunky-dory. Is that a saying? Things can't all be rainbows and sunshines, is what I'm trying to say. But other than that, I enjoyed this one. I think in my ratings of Wild and Wrangled, not Wild and Wrangled, of the Rebel Blue Ranch series, this one will be my top, and is in very close comparison to, what's the fourth one? Or the third one? What's the third one? Why am I like blanking right now? Oh, Swift and Saddled is the second one. So I think it would be Wild and Wrangled, Swift and Saddled, Done and Dusted, and then, no. Wild and Wrangled, Lost and Lassoed, Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled. Why are they confusing me? This one's definitely my favorite, but it's very close tie to Lost and Lassoed. I really liked our characters. I loved the tropes in here. I loved seeing their history and how they got together eventually again, and like seeing their feelings still being there extremely heavily. The only thing is, in the past chapter, some of the stuff they were doing as like 17, 18-year-olds, like one part was like Dusty said something to her like in front of the class, and I was like, that's not realistic. There's no 17-year-old doing all that. But other than that, it was sweet. Their romance was really sweet, and I really liked Dusty as a main character, and I really liked Cam. I think she was a wonderful mother, and seeing her relationship with her daughter and then all the people around her is really wonderful. And yeah, I think this was a wonderful way to finish off the series. So I'm sad that it's over, but these are really fun, fast-paced little cowboy small town books. That is the end of today's video. Shout out Scout for picking my reads. I highly recommend using him to pick your reads if you're looking at your shelves and you have no idea what to read next. He is really good at his job. It was really fun using him and seeing what he was going to pick, because he picked some really good ones. I'm really happy about that, and I'm definitely going to be using him to pick some other books in the future when I don't know what I want to read. He's got all of my books on deck, so he knows what he's got to do. It was really, really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on any of the books I read in this video. If you're going to read any of them, let me know. And I'll see y'all hopefully in the next one. Bye!